Okay, so today we're going to catch you up on our trip. Since we last left you, we had just started the Alaskan Highway in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Yeah, we had just crossed into the border. So this particular story will take you up the Alaskan Highway with a detour to the top of the World Highway, which turns into the Taylor Highway, back to the Alaskan Highway. And that brings us to where we are now, North Pole, Alaska, which is just to the northeast of Fairbanks, Alaska. So this is what you're going to see in this particular video. It starts at Dawson Creek, where I'm not no sure, but we met some friends that we had been following along the way, and we kept running into them. And so we started Dawson Creek taking pictures of each other at the, welcome to the start of the Alaskan Highway sign. And the first thing we hit after we left Dawson Creek was a place where they sold cinnamon rolls. And right before we got those cinnamon rolls, we saw the coolest find so far of the trip, and that was a lynx standing on the side of the road, or just sitting there sunning himself. It was really pretty. It was cool. That day, and you'll see this along the road during the stretch of the road from Dawson Creek to Liard Hot Springs and Watson Lake, we saw 5 bears, 1 moose, 1 lynx, and 2 herds of buffalo. Is that
One bear that wouldn't let us out of the car. This
And
was
one
at the
bear-
parking lot at Liard Hot Springs.
Yeah. 1 bear would not let us out of the car at Liard Hot Springs. We'll put in the video of him pacing back and forth while we're standing there in our bathing suits and towels ready to walk out to some hot springs. So we followed that road after we got these famous cinnamon rolls, and we saw this moose. And the moose is really funny because we slow down to look at it, and he walks and hides behind a tree like a stick, like we can't see him. Anyway, a few miles down the road, we get stuck in this big traffic jam, and the people in front of us, I had been filming scenery as we're going down the road for, nonstop. And I told them, I just got some great shots of your RV going through the prettiest countryside in the world. And we ended up sending them a lot of that footage, and we ended up seeing them several times after that. So that was our second set of friends we made on the road.
And you showed them the moose because they couldn't slow down enough to see the damn thing as it was running away. So we stopped and filmed it for a while, but we got stuck at like a construction site roadblock thing for a half an hour, so we got out and talked to them.
So that was a good thing. I don't remember if we ran into them at Watson Lake. I don't think so.
No.
The next stop was Watson Lake.
We actually never saw them again.
After that, it was before that we saw them all the
You texted back and forth
time.
and sent them pictures.
Yeah, we actually had picked them up much earlier. So Watson Lake is a place in the Yukon where you put up a sign, and there's up to 100,000 signs inside this forest where people have written something. And you'll see the sign that we prepared months ago and we put up at the Signpost Forest in Watson Lake. So we left Watson Lake, and then the next jump you'll see is to Whitehorse, Yukon. And I'm thinking Watson Lake is like in British Columbia, not in the Yukon.
It was
remember.
the beginning of the Yukon, and the road was just going right back and forth on the border. So it's welcome to Yukon, welcome to
British Columbia.
welcome to the Yukon. It was in the Yukon.
Yeah, so we make it to Whitehorse, and that's the capital of the Yukon. And we walked around town there. We went on a nice little walk. You'll see some pictures of that. We went up to a fish ladder on the Yukon River where not one single salmon had gone by yet. We visited the Klondike, which is the first big paddle wheel we saw on this particular stretch. And you're going to know a lot about paddle wheels when we're done, because paddle wheels were the way everything moved before the roads were built and before the aircraft got into play. We met an interesting bartender in Whitehorse. I have to say this for anybody that's a member of the Big Lebowski fan club. She had this huge tattoo of a bowling ball with a big skeleton, fingers going into the bowling ball, and it said, obviously you're not a golfer. So if you're a Big Lebowski fan, you'd get that. Didn't go by me, but so that was kind of interesting little side note. So we were all over Whitehorse. You'll see lots of pictures of that. It's a big town, a relatively big town. Their signage is horrible. We came into town and it said fifth wheel parking this way, and the next sign we never saw was when we were on the road out of Whitehorse. So we had to double back, and I went back to the Chamber of Commerce and said I didn't appreciate their fifth wheel parking signage. Anyway, okay, after Whitehorse to Dawson City. So now we're on the top of the World Highway. We've left the Alaskan Highway to do this loop around the top of the World Highway. And we go to Dawson City, which is famous for the gold rush. And while we're at top of the world, you'll see that we went through some fire areas that had closed down the road that previous week. And the road conditions were just really great, right? Going to Dawson Creek.
Are you kidding?
A lot of road construction.
But it got worse after that.
Yeah, it gets worse after that. So we're at Dawson City. You'll see us walking around the city of Dawson City. There's no pavement anywhere, but it's a good-sized little city. City's a big word. Town is a big word. It's located at the junction of the Klondike and Yukon rivers, where we took a ferry across the Yukon River because the top of the World Highway isn't complete. You have to take a ferry if you want to keep going. So we walked one day onto the ferry and went over to a graveyard of 3 paddle wheels. And I'll show you a Google Earth shot of that, as well as a little hunting around we did getting to this graveyard and looking at the what is a mess. But anyone that's an aficionado of paddle wheels, I took a lot of extra pictures for you if you wanted to try to identify some of the parts. So while we were in Dawson City, we went to Diamond Tooth Gertie's, which is a favorite ongoing can-can show and casino there in Whitehorse. We also went to the famous Sourdough Saloon. Sourdough referring to old miners. They called them sourdoughs. Well, they're famous for a drink called the sour toe cocktail. And a sour toe cocktail is just that. They give you a shot of, in my case, they gave me a shot of brandy, and they put an old toe in it, and you have to drink the drink, and the toe has to slide through the cup and touch your lips. And you get a certificate saying you had the sour toe cocktail, which John didn't do.
And they're looking for toe donations if you want to leave them to them in their will.
Yeah,
so other
that.
people can enjoy the drink.
Yeah, I did read later that the toes are coated in some kind of a wax or something. So what's touching your lips is not the actual mummified flesh, but it is disgusting to look at.
Someone's toenail touching your teeth.
Don't. You can't. It can't touch your teeth, or you get in trouble.
I didn't do it. That would hit my gag reflexes, and it'd be barf all over.
That would be very embarrassing. So. Another place that we stopped along, took a couple of pictures, was the Kino. That was one of the most famous paddle wheel boats, and it's there on display just off the river on the side. We took a drive up to what's called the Dome, and the Dome is just a high point where you drive and drive and drive, and you get to the top. A lot of people hike it. We were hiked and biked out for a little while. We went up to the Dome, and you can see forever. I wasn't a fan of the height, but it was an interesting view of the Yukon and the Klondike River. You could see the sights from up there. We took a drive out to a thing called Dredge Number 4. It was the last remaining intact, full-sized commercial dredge that was used to dredge for gold. And when you look at it, pay attention to the size of the buckets. The huge buckets, stainless, I don't know what they're made out of. What are they? They're thick steel.
They've got to be cast iron.
Cast iron. I mean, it's just crazy to see. This thing scooping up, it had 66 of them on a track, constantly dredging up gold and then sifting it. So that was interesting. So we left Dawson City after 3 nights and went to Tok, T-O-K, Alaska, just over the border. On the way, Now we're really on the top of the world highway. And the reason they call it top of the world is because when you leave Dawson City, cross the Yukon River with the RV on a ferry, wait till you see the ferry, it looks like the Balboa Island ferry, you climb up to a ridge and you stay on that ridge for 100 miles. Of course, nothing's paved, and there's no guardrails, and it wasn't that bad, that first part, but it's frost heaves and potholes and you have to go slow. You don't see a lot of cars. At one point, I think we went 2 hours and saw 3 cars.
It was a lot of potholes and all dirt. So my average speed was 25 miles an hour because it was going to take our teeth out.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. At the end of the day, it was a bit much. Anyway, so you'll see some views from up there. Then we stopped at about 2/3 of the way. Well, we went through the border patrol in the middle of nowhere, going into the U.S. in Alaska. And from there, we kind of started heading downhill. We were no longer riding that ridge at the top of the world. And there was a little bit of asphalt, a little bit of dirt, and that's when everything went to hell. The road just got horrible. It was kind of like going from Oregon to California, where California is the worst. This was as bad as the 5 up in Northern California.
It was like driving over speed bumps for 100 miles with a RV chasing you.
It was a bit much. We'll stop at a city called Chicken, which is a cute little place. It's really nothing. It's a saloon, a merchandise store, and a little diner where we paid $25 for a burger. But you had to do it. There's no running water there or sewer, so they have a huge outhouse, and it's called the Chicken Poop, but it looks like a chicken coop. So got a picture of that if you're wondering what that is. So we have a habit, every single time we stop, we walk around this rig. We walk and look at the truck, we look under the truck, we look at the RV, we look at the wheels, we look at everything. And everything was fine. When we went to Tok, the first thing we saw were these wheels on the right side hooked together, meaning we knew exactly what was wrong instantly. It was a suspension problem. What was broken?
The leaf spring.
The leaf spring was broken. So imagine wheels going in the same direction. So this one's going this way and this one's going this. They're going the same way, but where they're touching, they're going in opposite directions. We have no idea how long those were broken. They could have been broken a mile. They could have been broken 50 miles since Chicken, because we never stopped after Chicken. Even though we did launch the RV in the air at one point.
There was a very big bump. We started getting toward the end and close to the highway. The speed limit went up, and I just got overconfident and sped up because I was tired. I mean, at this point, we're 8 hours in the car, and I'm getting tired. So, anyway, we pretty much the truck and the RV launched up in the air and came down for a hard landing, and I'm sure that's where I did it.
Yeah, it was crazy. But we made it to Tok. We made it to Tok in time to fire up the satellite dish, the Starlink, which we can't stop singing the praises of because it works everywhere. And we got to watch our grandson Tyler win his section and division for Liso Viejo Little League, he and his team, and now they're headed to state, and they're at the age, of course, where if you're in the Little League World Series, you get to be on ESPN. So we're hoping over the next week that they go all the way and win state. They are favored as one of the top teams to win the whole thing. So to finish up after Tok, to finish up the Alaskan Highway, you do a quick drive, 200-mile drive, slow, frost heaves, beautiful country. You'll just see a couple of shots to Delta Junction, where the end marker is currently under construction. So I'll show you a stock photo of that. But we finished the 1422 miles of the Alaskan Highway with that little side trip out to Dawson City on the top of the World Highway. And that brings us another 100 miles to here, to the North Pole, where we've already met Santa, and that's for the next video. So
I got off the naughty list, but I can't get Paula off. Santa said no way.
I'm not on the naughty list. And Santa did have a message for our grandson Caleb, so we got that to him immediately. But all of that will be next, but enjoy the Alaskan Highway and put in your comments, and be sure to hit like and subscribe to our YouTube. I'll put something else up in a week or so. We are headed from Fairbanks to Anchorage now on this next loop, which will take us through Denali National Park. So we hope to see the mountain. Not everybody gets to see it. Anything else?
We did go to an auto museum today in Fairbanks, and these were early 1900s automobiles that actually still run. They're in a museum, but anyway, it's fascinating to look at them, the cost of them, and I took lots of pictures of the hood ornaments because they're just beautiful and elaborate. And I guess in the 1970s, people that run people over, they were ripping people apart when they run them over. So we don't get hood ornaments anymore because they're dangerous. But you know, how often do you run somebody over?
Not that often, but that'll all be in the next video. So look forward to seeing that and the sights and sounds of Fairbanks in the North Pole. We woke up this morning here in Fort Nelson in a deep smoke. So we are preparing to bug out as fast as possible. We need to get out of here. We had this yesterday, but not this early, where we're having to work outside and getting ready to leave. What the hell is that? Johnny, slow down. What the hell is that? What the hell? That's not Thule. So we're gonna go in here to get our famous Tetsa cinnamon buns. Can't wait. Okay, we made it to the Tetsa River Lodge, and these are the famous cinnamon rolls that are noted in any Alaska Highway Drive book. While we were in there, we picked up their local bumbleberry jam, which is a combination of strawberry, raspberry, and blueberry, and some homemade maple syrup. So you got to take care of the troops while you're making these stops. But a really nice little campground and nice people inside. Everybody should stop here on the Alaska Highway. Okay, small traffic jam. As they, oh, there's babies. Baby bison. And mommy and daddy bison. If you can stop, Johnny, and get the better shot. We came into park and we can't get out of the car. Because, yeah. Johnny, stop. Oh. Look at him. He's coming to visit us. We can't get out of the car now. Johnny, you are not getting out of the car no matter what. Okay, we're taking a break in our big driving day to go to some hot springs. We have been getting dressed and hiding in the RV for the last 20 minutes because, as you will see, or already saw, there was a bear and he wouldn't let us out of the RV. But now we've got the bear spray and we're going to the hot springs. I'm gonna go put my hat back on. Okay, we're starting to walk out to Liard Hot Springs. It's a really nice trail. My hat is all tweaked. So we're gonna head off out here. I think it's a mile to the hot springs. I am dying. If I don't get in a hot spring, we're gonna have to go to a hotel so I can get in a tub. And I don't know where that is. So we will see you shortly. Okay, we made it to Liard Hot Springs and we're sitting in the hot springs here. Take a look. Very pretty. Very clean. We'll go down there in a second, see if the temperature is different. But I drove a long way to enjoy these hot springs. I'm venturing down the narrow part of the hot spring. Some other kids in here. Yep. Oh yeah, it's dark in here.
Let's go to that little cave. I want to show like little cave to bump.
Wow, it really gets tight, huh?
Wait, bump us here?
Wow, this is fun.
There's a bunch of fish at the end there.
Cool. Wow, it's really cool. John, are you going all the way?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep videoing you.
I don't see it again, but it's getting cold.
It's getting cold? I can see way in there. The road. We got a grizzly bear right on the road. Hi, Guy. Oh, is that a black bear or a grizzly bear?
buddy.
Hi, Guy. We'll leave you alone. Bye-bye. We'll leave you alone. Nice little trail along the Yukon River to stretch our legs while we're here in Whitehorse. Sorry for the bumps. to make a big drop down into Dawson City. We've got an 8-kilometer long, 9% grade that we've just started. Other than going downhill, nothing's changed. The road is, in my opinion, fine, but John's going very slow. So the Klondike Highway has no bridge over the Yukon River. So just like the Balboa Island ferry. See, we're gonna. Okay, we're standing on the Midnight Dome, which is a high point over Dawson City, where the locals originally gathered to celebrate the midnight sun. Taking a walking trip across the river. We're on the ferry that will take us across the Yukon. The top of the world highway does not have a bridge at Dawson City. So you either go back to Whitehorse and go around, 500 miles, or you cross here and do 170 miles of dirt to get to Tok. So we'll be doing this tomorrow morning with the RV. But right now, we're going to take a quick ferry ride over there, which is really funny because they have to really fight this massive river and current to get across. So we'll see how they do that. And then further downstream, we're going to go to a paddle wheel graveyard. So we're going on a little hike and looking forward to showing you this. So we walked over. Okay, we've gone through the campground as far as we can go, and now we're heading down to the water, where hopefully the river is low enough that we can walk up the side of the river to the graveyard of all these paddle boats. They look like they're about, a couple hundred yards upriver in the Google Maps. So here we go. Still walking along the river looking for these paddle boats from the 1900s. I wouldn't say it's a path, but it's a way through. Let's see. Maybe around this corner. Maybe not. Maybe I gotta watch my feet. Not yet. Oh yeah, I can see one right there. Look, it's peeking out. Well, we've made it to the paddle boat graveyard. If you're ever in Dawson City, which is over there on the other side of the river, go ahead and take the ferry across the Yukon take a walk up the road a little bit, dive into the campground, walk about a mile through the campground. When the campground's in, just work your way over to the water and walk along the river here until you find these paddle boats. What a fun thing to see. And we spent the morning in Dawson City learning about the paddle boats and how important they were to the area up until the early 1900s when those silly people came along and built the Alaskan highway and invented airplanes. So the paddle wheels went out of service. So enjoy these pictures. Wow. Anybody familiar with these kind of have fun going through this video and seeing what you see. It doesn't mean much to me. I know there are 3 of the boats side by side. I'll show you the Google Maps of that at some point in this video. But that is, man, just imagine that. You know, all of us from Disneyland can recognize that. Let's find a paddle wheel. Certainly found the remains of the paddle wheel for this particular boat. I am not going to climb up in there and investigate much further, but if I look through this one, looky in there. Look at a paddle wheel for another one. Well, isn't that fun? Well, I'm not ready to investigate much further. There's certainly paths around this, but I'm not sure-footed enough to keep investigating. But that's definitely 3, 2, 1 paddle boats here on the side of the Yukon River. All put in the graveyard because silly people had to come along and build the Alaskan and Klondike highways, as well as invent aircraft. So what's with that? Sour toe wheels. Follow the captain's instructions. Membership will be awarded if you chew, suck, bite, or put the toe in your mouth. If the toe is swallowed, you must pay a $2,500 fine. Failure to pay will result in prosecutions, no refunds of shot or toe. So what do you do with the toe? You just let it touch your lips. You gotta let it touch your lips. Oh God, no. Oh, she thought I was swallowed. Oh.
You can. It costs you $2,500.
Jody, is it recording? John, is it recording? It looks like that? Where? Okay. Okay. So, are we going to talk about the toe or we're just going to do it? What's your name?
Yeah, whose toe is it?
Terry.
Terry's?
Terry.
Terry's toe.
No, it's not my toe.
It's not your toe. We'll do that later.
Already done it.
Oh, you do both of them, Paul.
Have you been doing this a while?
11 years.
11 years. John, back up. So you have white screen.
Hey, Paula, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where's your pass? Drink it slow. Your lips must touch this gnarly code. Just till you get teeth. Tongue. Stop. Thank you.
Ready? Cheers.
Don't throw up. Yeah.
You're going to see Polly?
I drank the sour toe. It touched my lips.
Good job.
We're out at dredge number 4, and the following pictures will show you that this ran from 1912 to 1959, and it had 66 buckets. John took a picture of me next to one of the buckets, and it would go up this conveyor belt, go into this rotating cylinder where the gold would be separated from the rocks, and then the rocks would be thrown out the conveyor belt at the end. The still pictures will tell the story, but the size of this thing is unbelievable. I can't explain how big this is. But this is the famous dredge number 4. We are about 10 miles outside of Dawson City. Okay, we're getting on the ferry. We're getting on the left
Good
side
morning.
of the ferry. There we go. I hope they're watching the tail. One way or the other. 4-wheel drive, maybe. Watch the guy. More left. Straight. Left. Straight. Guy or girl? Right. We are on the ferry. Good morning. Nothing like putting your 11-ton vehicle on a ferry crossing one of the biggest rivers in the world, the Yukon. And we're off. Here we go. road going forever at the top of the mountains. Let's go down a little bit. We are 63 kilometers along the 270-kilometer drive. I mean, I'm videoing this just the way it's actually looking. We're going straight up. And Johnny, stay to the right. You're scaring me. Potholes. Oh God. We're just way up here. We're about 3 kilometers from the Alaskan border. So this is just very interesting that we're just climbing straight up. What do you think this grade is? 8? 10?
Yeah, 10.
It's got to be a 10% grade. We're going 10 miles an hour, and I think I can see the top. But I keep saying that, but I know that the border's coming up. The border is not at a high point. Crazy. We're truly, truly, truly at the top of the world. There's the American border right there. Truly at the top of the world. Wow. Oh, we're freezing. Okay, we've made it to Alaska, finally! We just went through the border. It is freezing. I tried to put the drone up. Has to be the crappiest road ever. What the hell? It's like being on the ocean. I mean, you don't even know which way to go. Look at this guy barrel assing down here. Not worried about bottoming out. Hello there from Tok, Alaska. So you'll see the full video of this in the YouTube video later, but we are here in Tok, Alaska. We just made it across the top of the world highway, which is a highway not very many people choose to make, especially with a 55-foot, 11-ton, did you say 11 tons? Rig. And we did. And we made it to Tok, but not without problems. Just after Chicken, Alaska, we hit a major frost heave. We didn't think anything of it because we've been checking the wheels and the rig every time we stop. But we got here to Tok, Alaska, and did notice that we had our wheels very close together. I'll show you here. When you see that on an RV, when the wheels are touching each other, that's a problem. So this isn't our first rodeo. We've been RVing for 40 years. So it's a broken leaf spring. And you can see in here, I think, you should be able to see in there, that the leaf spring is broken. So we have called for assistance. It's Sunday afternoon, and we expect to have someone on site here, or we'll drag it across the street tomorrow, to have the leaf spring fixed and check out those tires to see if they can make the 5,000 mile drive back. Of course, we haven't even started Alaska yet. We just got here today. And so we've got lots to do and looking forward to getting that fixed and moving on in a day or two. All is well. Okay, the time has finally arrived. We are adding a big one to the map. Let's see if I can get this on fairly right the first time. Nope. Gotta get that. Here we go. Let's see. I got a kink in it here. Okay. I guess that's as good as I'm gonna get it. There you go. There it is. Alaska's on. Okay, it's 11 o'clock at night, and we just finally made it to the North Pole. And obviously we can drive at night here. So we're here. We're gonna go see Santa tomorrow.